Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you in the studios on a Saturday talking real estate. Nothing better in an August weekend, talking some real estate. Hope you've had an amazing weekend. Thank you for tuning in with us. Every Saturday, we tune into this radio station, or you tune into this radio station, hopefully to get the most insight in the Knoxville housing market, try to give you the up-to-dates. Of course, we give you some updates in our Vols. Right around the corner, just a couple weeks for football season kicks off. That's really big. Kiddos back to school, and it's a hot August. So much going on, and thank you for tuning in. Got a good show for you today. Obviously, some news in the real estate. We'll cover that. And then we got a topic today that I hope nobody has to go through, but we want to understand the probate process, how to sell your home in probate, what you need to do if you're involved in that or you're helping another family member, the steps. Just kind of cover some of those bases. It can be a complex issue. We deal with a lot of probate, a lot of things that come up, and some of these things hopefully would help you and kind of explain that process going through that. So got a good show for you. As always, if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Ryan Coleman, Hometown Realty. We do this little show on the weekend called Real Estate with Ryan. We try to have fun with it. No politics, none of that, just real estate, all real estate. And occasionally we talk about our Vols. So go Big Orange, having fun with that. And in a couple weeks, don't you guys miss out. We're giving away tickets to our first home game, so make sure you follow us. All of our social media channels. We're going to let you know next week we're going to be dropping some information where you need to subscribe. But watch out for our channels. So we're Facebook, Instagram, X, Instagram, TikTok, what else? All those channels you can think of, we're there. You can look us up. Look up at Hometown Realty or Ryan Coleman. We're there. Just like, subscribe, and we'll keep you up to date with the latest real estate news and, of course, some Vol giveaways. Thank you if you're tuning in to News Talk 98.7 at 1 o'clock. You can find us there. Talk Radio 92.3 FM at 11 a.m. Make sure you check us out there. 2 radio stations we're on. Of course, you're watching us on social media. Thanks for tuning in. We got some news, got some congrats and some new listings. A lot of activity going on in August. We'll get into the real estate news in just a minute, but I got to always start with some new listings. Listing out on 405 Maggie Mack Lane in Sevierville, just listed there. Beautiful property. Make sure you check that property out. It is currently on a rental, but we can get you in there to see it. No worries. New listing out in Rockwood, 415 South Chamberlain Avenue in Rockwood. Price to sell. It's got some historic value. Make sure you check that property out. A lot of space. A lot of good floor plan there. Just listed that property. Beautiful property. Want to check it out. It's got over 4,000 square feet and 2 apartments. So make sure you want to take a look at that on our website as well. 4911 Clark Drive, coming soon in Halls. It's got almost 13 acres, detached buildings, no restrictions. So that's going to be a very popular property that is coming soon. And new listing coming soon on 314 North Chilhowie Drive in Knoxville. Congrats to our great sellers on Boogertown Road, Sevierville, closing. Perfect. And, of course, that goes our news and updates as of the week. Okay. All right, let's talk about the news in the real estate market. Maybe you've been watching, but you might not be because getting the kiddos back to school, so much going on. This is officially, if you're in real estate, every year we do it this time, that this week the kiddos go back to school is the slowest week in real estate. I think so. Even Christmas. Because everybody's so preoccupied and so much going on trying to get our kiddos to school. So I didn't know if you know that. So I have some sellers calling me, and routinely we have those conversations regardless of the market, right? You know, we say, hey, look, this week the kiddos go back to school is the toughest week for parents as a whole. But for real estate, they put that on the back burner. So a lot of movement there. This week is official. You heard it. This is news. The slowest week in real estate that I feel like. You know, I don't know what you guys think. And maybe some other fellow agents out there listening to our show. Tell me what you think. Is this the slowest week? It's always slower than normal, right? All right, we got news in the real estate market. Weekly mortgage refinance demand soars 16% as rates sink to the lowest level in a year. So we saw news off the Feds. We saw the stock market the previous week. We watched all that going on. Looms of a possible recession, and then the interest rates are expected in September to make their first adjustment. That didn't stop the markets. Rates adjusted accordingly. The average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage with conforming loan balances of $766,000 or less, decreased from 6.55 from a previous 6.82. Applications for refinance home loans, which are most sensitive to the weekly rate change, jumped 16% to the week and were 59% higher than the same week 1 year ago. So we're seeing that in the marketplace. Total mortgage applications volumes rose 6.9% last week, which was good to see. And applications for mortgage purchase homes increased just 1% for the week, still 11% lower than the same week a year ago. All right, so we're seeing mortgage rates make some adjustments. And that's where we're able to talk to a lot of our great clients. And we say, hey, the interest rates, a lot of this year has been timing. Real estate's always timing. You guys, if you buy real estate at the right time, then you hopefully get a good deal or secure that house that you're looking for. But obviously, with this market, it's been a little, I used this word the other day, and it was a client. He said, that's different. I said, wonky. He's like, that's a great word, wonky. It is wonky. This year is a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on in the news media. Knew it's election year. We keep saying that, but there's so many more components to that, right? And so I think the interest rates in the job report, some of those are not exactly where we think they're going to be. And so that has some of the market wondering where we're at, and it leads to the rate adjustment. So the rates are going to be some adjustments in September. We're not expecting anything that we're seeing that September, when it comes in September, there may be a slight correction, but a lot of these banks or lenders already have pricing built into the rates, meaning they can raise or lower. The rates are padded, if that makes sense. Not uncommon, but it happens. And so they adjust accordingly to where they anticipate the Feds are going to move. So that's where we're at. If you're thinking about purchasing or selling this year, these are big things to think about. Do you wait through the election to see where the rates go further? That's just a gamble. You're always going to time the market. And more than likely, if the rates go down dramatically further, that's only going to make things more expensive. So I would say if you're a buyer in today's market, now is the best time to think about purchasing. Rates just went below 6.5. You got opportunities out there. We saw longer days on market. I know we're seeing in the Florida market almost 6 months in the market as a whole. Now, we're not seeing that in East Tennessee. So Knoxville, as a housing, median price was about $374,000. Days on market, a little bit about over 20, but each case is different. We're still seeing a lot of new construction that we have competition. So if you're on the market and your home isn't selling, we're probably facing some fierce competition with the new construction. So those are some of the pricing battles that we're having to deal with on the market as a whole. So as a whole, great opportunity to purchase. Selling, great opportunity to find buyers that are entering this market with the new interest rates. I would say don't time interest rates to be exact, because before you know it, we'll have more and more inventory decrease, and the prices will be in a different position. So now's a great time to purchase, in my opinion, especially if you're a first-time home buyer or moving up. I think we're going to see a lot of people move into the market as the end of the year comes in. So we got a great show for you. We're talking about probate. Hope you never have to deal with that or have somebody maybe that knows, have been through that process. But we want to kind of cover the probate process, how to sell a home during probate, go through some of the steps, what is probate, and those kind of things. So probate is a process where beneficiaries legally obtain property promised to them in a will, and they pay off any debt. Obviously, if no will is present. In many states, going through the process of probate, a will is the only option to legally become the owner of the home. Keep in mind, every state has different laws for probate. If you need to sell a house that's in probate, it's not required to be sold within the probate court. You'll first need to obtain approval through the court to sell it outside of that. If a home does not have to be sold in probate court, you just have to wait until they give you power of attorney or the ability to do so. So there's a lot that goes into the steps. Obviously, dealing with this topic is tough, and going over it is tough. But that process, we need to be guided if you have to deal with that, a loved one or a family member that you're involved with that process. First step, find a good probate attorney. Now, sometimes you say, well, maybe I don't need an attorney. Sometimes you do. But we would strongly suggest that you get a probate attorney that knows the ins and outs and things that you need to do. It's going to be well worth the wait. My wife's grandfather has just had to deal with the same process. Her parents dealt with their grandfather. And, it was tough, but they did do the right steps. They got with the probate attorney, and they started that process. Look, we got more coming on the second half, Real Estate with Ryan. Stay with us just in a second. We'll be right back.
Your friend promised we wouldn't be homeless.
He promised. He's doing everything to fix it.
You need to call and have him fix it now.
Hey, man.
Found us a house.
No, not yet. Let me call you back. We're working on it.
Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty.
He says he's doing the best he can do, honey.
Well, he's taken too long. I knew we should have gone with Ryan Coleman.
Choosing the right agent is never easy.
Call your hometown experts. We'll take care of all the details and make sure you don't get stuck in a motel.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, we're back at it. Second half, Real Estate with Ryan. Thank you for tuning in. Always get on those breaks. We've got so much to cover and just not enough time. So thank you for staying with us. We've got a great show for you talking about probate, how to sell a home in probate. And it is not a comfortable conversation, but if you have to go through it or if you have family or friends, we wanted to cover it. I got a lot of clients that are going through the estate process and different things like that. And so hopefully give you some tips, some ideas where you can go through that process and what you need to do. Before we get in that, it's almost that time, just a couple weeks for football season. Next week, make sure you follow our channels. We'll be giving out tickets to our first home game, and we'll cover all that in just a second. So we're going to go 60-second vol update. Always like to cover that, but especially during football season. All right, drum roll, please. All right, 60-second vol update. We got some news in the recruiting news. Josh Heupel and the Vols are making big splashes in the recruiting market. Fajon Brandon announced commitment to Tennessee on Saturday afternoon. According to 247 Sports, Brandon is the number one quarterback in the country. He's also the number one player in North Carolina, the number one quarterback and number one player in the country. He's the Vols' first commitment of 2026 class and becomes the fourth straight five-star quarterback to commitment to Tennessee. Four-star safety Lagonzo Hayward announced his decision to go to Tennessee over the rivals Bulldogs and the Gators. Go Big Orange. Then we got Carson Snead announced a new recruit. Darion Smith, 2025 defensive lineman, commits to the Vols. That makes our quarterbacks looks like Jake Merklinger, 2024, four-star. Five-star, George McIntyre, 2025. And then Fajon Brandon, 2026. So we got Nico, Jake, George, Fajon. That's our Vol recruiting. It's hot. The Vols are number one. I think moved up to number 5 in the country. I tell you, it's looking good for Big Orange. Excited for football season. And as always, make sure you like and subscribe to all our social channels. We love to send you to our home games free on the house, Hometown Realty. We do it because we love you guys. Go Big Orange. All you got to do is like, subscribe, and share, and we're going to send you just a couple weeks. That's my Vol update. Go Big Orange. All right, so a lot going on. Exciting. Always love football time. It's just something about fall in East Tennessee. Housing market, football, at least for our family, right? It's housing, and, it's just a beautiful time. Leaves start changing in East Tennessee. I just got back from California, and, California is beautiful. We're in Southern California. Great opportunity out there. Daughter had a basketball camp and went out there and took the whole family. And so it was quite an event. We won't mention that we got stuck in Michigan and had to drive back. But anyway, it was an event. Love the weather out there. It's gorgeous, beautiful area. But I couldn't wait to get home. There's just something about East Tennessee, weather changing, just when you get here. There's a reason that so many people are relocating here. We're blessed to be in East Tennessee. It has so much to offer, and just excited to be back home and be with you guys. But that's big news for the housing market because fall as I lead into that, is when we have so many more people relocating here. A lot of our executives, our corporate executives, have to be here by January. And that's why we always encourage, if you're putting your home on the market and you miss the spring and summer market, it's okay. The fall market is right behind it. And it's a great opportunity where there's less competition on the market to position your home now with a rate adjustment to put yours at the top of the list. So we're talking about probate, getting back into that. And we talked about finding a probate attorney is the number one option. I was mentioned in the first half, April's parents and had to deal with grandfather and his estate and all that went on. And they got a great probate attorney. And one of the challenges was they got a great probate attorney, but you would think, hey, everything would be smooth. Well, won't get into the details, but always when you get into family and property and money, sometimes there could be issues, right? So get a good attorney. They're going to help be the mediator, going to be the calm voice in that process, and they'll guide you the right ways. As I say, a lot of ins and outs and things that you need to do. Also, you need to file and petition to start the process. In some states, you need to do that within 10 days. Got a great client that we're working with now, and this is some stories. Choose your attorneys. We do this show every week. We talk about get the right agent in your corner. Have someone that you can trust. Same thing with the attorneys. Great client we're dealing with now, got it even cast a check and delayed the process. And I think he's on his third attorney now. So that makes it tough, makes it difficult. Get with somebody on the beginning. Even if you have a will, you think it's clear cut. It's just never that easy. There's always something involved. So make sure you get with them early on and discuss your options for the property. If there's a property involved, you want to make sure that you do secure the property. If you're the executor, make sure that you're going to make sure it's all secure, your belongings and all those different things like that. Sometimes that's where we go into number 3. We want to take inventory of the estate. Obviously, it depends on if you're the only child or if there's multiple siblings. Obviously, if everybody's on the same page, it makes life easier. But if it's not, make sure that you consult with your attorney so they can guide you through those steps. You're going to have to take an inventory of the estate. That's very important. All the assets, real estate, may even require you to get appraisals on the property to establish value. Let's see what else is here. And of course, any debt. If there's a mortgage on the property or credit card debts or different things like that, those things all come into play. There's something big here called a 10-care release. So when you're selling a property in the state of Tennessee, whether or not the property or the person that passed, if they have any kind of health care or Medicare or the state payments, still have to get that 10-care release. And routinely we see that holds up sales at the very end is somebody didn't get a 10-care release, the attorney didn't order it, or things like that. So we've got a kind of a more expedited position, but last couple months. But make sure you're checking that out on the front end. If you can get that, good probate attorney is going to have all the documents and your 10-care releases and things like that. So keep that in mind. So one of those things that you need to do. Obviously, you're going to notify all the creditors, legitimate claims, things like that. Once you've identified the credit card, if there's any credit card or mortgages on the property, obviously you have to pay those, get with your attorneys, different things like that. Once we secure the properties, make sure the utilities are all on. Those are big things. When you sell the property, you're going to make sure that all the utilities are functioning. If you sell it, you're still going to have to do an appraisal, going to have to do an inspection. So buyers are going to want to make sure all the utilities are working and function. How do we sell the property? We're going to sell it as is. Those are things that we encourage you to kind of get with a good real estate agent. First step, get with a good probate attorney, start the process. Obviously, there's no rush. This is a very emotional deal, and it's going to be very hard. We've got a couple now that we're working with, and one of the biggest things I would say is take your time. It's not an easy deal, and it's hard, especially your loved one there and all the stuff that you've got to go through. So take your time. Once you get the proper guidance of the steps, go at your own pace. That's my biggest suggestion. And we'll go at your own pace on what you need to do. I mean, the real estate and all that, we can all help you with that, but go at your own pace. And from there, you have certain things that you'll have to do. You have to manage the final tax return. You know, obviously things are transferred to the beneficiaries at that. Probate, how long does that take? It really just depends. The length of probate depends on state by state. Some laws, if you're dealing with small estates, it could take as little as 6 months. So those are things that you can think about. There are ways to avoid probate, and there's certain kind of revocable trust and things like that. So if you have a revocable trust, you don't have to worry about selling probate, but there's some things you need to make sure that you do properly before you do that. Now, what is intestate probate sale? Usually does where you don't have a will, and usually the estate will have to go through the formal probate process. What deals with that is where there was no will, and then, you know, it's two brothers or a brother and a sister, and the court controls the entire sale. Every state has different rules and regulations and practices for it, but generally the same steps. The executor gets the house appraised, gets approval to sell, they get with an agent, and then they go through that whole process themselves. So it's important to have a will in those different processes, but there is ways to go through that to finalize it. Hope you don't ever have to deal with that process. Obviously, if we could ever be of assistance, we deal with a lot of probates in the states. We know it's tough. It's not an easy thing to do, but we're always here to help you and guide you through that process. So if we could ever be any help, you always let us know. That's our show for the day. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thought it was important to cover that. Hope you don't have to deal with it, but if you are, we're here for you. Thank you for tuning in to Real Estate with Ryan. We look forward to seeing you back next weekend. You guys have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you back next Saturday. Take care.